And I almost forgot everything that we need to do a podcast.
The camera and the
But
microphone.
we made it. We're here. We came fresh out of the swamps. Biz Marquis has vitiligo, and he's joining us here today. Welcome to the Gig Podcast. I'm Sean Cove.
Payday Loans.
Also, you
No.
didn't get the first part of the joke.
I did not. I heard the Biz Marquis part, but I wasn't sure. Is that me?
Yeah. Biz Marquis with vitiligo is you.
I missed the vitiligo part. I'm sorry. That was the part I missed.
I hate when I work so hard on a joke all week.
I know.
And it doesn't last.
You want to just cut the show and we'll come back next week?
No, but you know who's in the building back at it again?
Chris?
Bull Aid.
Oh.
What up, Aid?
What's up, Aid?
You're probably wondering what Payday is doing in that getup.
Nobody's wondering. I look beautiful.
You kind of look like a Asian cartoon from the 70s. Like you look like a fat samurai who just walked out of the Georgia backwoods.
Should I just keep my hands like this for the rest of the show?
You spent your entire teenage years at a samurai school in Charleston, South Carolina.
My parents abandoned me in the swamp, and the monks found me, and they raised me from 3 years old.
At a Tibetan monk in a Tibetan monastery in the Everglades.
I was just carrying buckets on my shoulder with a broomstick.
That's all. What's So we're going full muckster this season.
Muck.
Although, do you feel muck? Do you feel like a muckster?
I feel more muck than I felt last week. So I mean,
yeah.
It's a scale. It's a spectrum, as they would say. I feel more muck than I did, and my son hammered that home for me in a beautiful way on Monday, so that was nice.
And how was that?
So you see the stash, and the stash is beautiful in and of itself, but the stash came from something else. This weekend, my wife and I went to a fundraiser, and there was a theme, and the theme was you picked a decade and you dressed appropriate for that decade. So
you were Ron Jeremy in '73.
That's right. My wife picked the 20s. So I got myself a vest, I got myself a tie, I got myself the whole nine, and then this was the mustache for the 20s. I'm sorry, just in case I guess they needed a blackjack dealer. So
right,
I got the mustache, the glasses, which you put me on to, came in on Monday in the afternoon before I left to pick my kid up from school. So when I went to go pick him up, I had the glasses on, and he gets in and he looks over and he starts laughing. Which first of all, he's got very similar glasses. He's got Oakleys like this that he wears out on the golf course.
Yeah, but you're not a cool teenage boy, so you're not allowed to pull them off in his eyes.
Right, and I'm not a pro athlete, so I fit neither of the necessary categories. But he looks over at me, and he looks at the glasses, and he laughs, and he goes, "Well, now the mustache is perfect." And
yep, you're full Kenny Powers now, dude.
I couldn't have been simultaneously more proud and angry of the man at the same time, which just made me more and more proud. So that was beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely. You're going full Kenny Powers, and I respect it. What we're trying to do here for the folks at home, for the gigmen, we're trying to, from afar, long distance swampsman training for Payday,
right? So
we can get him down here, because the goal right now. Did we talk fishing last week?
We talked a little bit of fishing. We talked about some gar that you caught, that you locked eyes with, that you were trying to take down. We talked about some crocodiles, some alligators, and some
regular
horses.
Swampsman stuff.
Yeah, the usual.
Yeah, full Swampsman. Well, and that's the goal, is to get you trained as a muckster Swampsman, and get you on board with the alligator gar hunting expedition.
1 weekend
coming up in mid-May, maybe.
1 weekend a month, one week a year. I come down and I'm Swampsman once my training is over.
So we know Cove.
Of course, we know Cove.
And when there's one thing that you know about Cove, it's the first thing that sticks out is that I am a full-blooded anarchist.
From the bottom
I'm a man
of your souls.
who believes. Yep. I'm a man who believes that the government could get out of here, and let's let the strong survive and see how it plays out.
That's right.
So currently, with my new hobby of becoming a Florida fishman.
Right.
I'm a fishman. I'm not a fisherman. I'm a fishman. Jeff Fishman. What's up, Jeff Fishman? Haven't seen him in probably 25 years.
But he still knows.
Anyway, yeah, he's obviously watching. He's just on private. So I'm torn here, right?
Okay.
Because I should, participating in the sport of fishing, I should do the same thing that everybody else does, and that's acquire a fishing license like a gentleman. But I can't help but feel aggravated and angry at the idea that I have to pay you $17 in order for me to go out into Mother Nature and harvest her beautiful bounty and bring it home to feed my family. It really kind of disgusts me and feels like more government overreach.
Can I help you out with that a little bit?
Please.
I don't want you to look at it that way. I don't want you to look at it as the government is putting their hands in your pockets because the government is the government. I want you to look at it like this and consider it like this. You want to be a man of nature. But also, part of being a man of nature is taking from nature. Of course, catch a fish, shoot a deer, whatever it might be. Take that home with you. But also, you want to wake up tomorrow and have nature still be there. So now I'm not saying that the entire cost of the license goes this way, but some of the cost of that license goes to the park people. Some of that license goes
conservation
to
efforts.
Conservation efforts. Some of it goes to restocking lakes and things like that. So some of it, yeah, you're paying government to be government, and that sucks. I get it. But there is at least a portion of it that is going to maintaining when you're not there to maintain it, when it's not your turn to watch out, and make sure that nature exists in the form that you want it to exist and need it to exist so you can continue to flourish as Mark Fishman.
Yeah, and I understand the duality here, that there is real purpose for a fishing license. I get that. Right. You got to keep the park range. This also led me down a rabbit hole of thinking maybe the perfect job for me is park ranger.
It could be. You get out there and you're
wildlife management.
You're by yourself. You're just walking in nature, just looking around. If something gets hairy, you pull a gun out. It really could be up your alley.
I know, but they probably also only make like $40,000 a year.
So, $40,000 a year, but a smile on your face every night.
No, I'm not going to be smiling if I'm making $40,000 a year.
Sure you will, because you can just sleep out in the woods. You don't have to come home.
It takes me 75 to crack a grin.
Okay.
And even then, I mean, 70. What the fuck is 75? Ain't much anymore.
No, 75 is not a hot fortune. But so your park rangers get into the 50s in Florida. So it's not your 75. You might have to supplement your income, but 50
park ranger
50,
picking up
park ranger and then something else I'm going to talk to you about anyway.
I'm picking up cocaine out of the Everglades, obviously.
Well, then you don't need to be a park ranger anymore. I'm saying
the park ranger is for fun.
Oh, all right. Well, then you're good. Or park
and
ranger,
tax purposes.
And then on the weekends you build custom beds.
Oh, so even more of what I love.
But
building things.
More but less. And the reason it's less is because you just work out of your garage. And once a week you put together a beautiful, high quality mahogany bed frame and you offload it for $800. And then you just do one of those a week at your own pace. You don't have to go to somebody's house. You don't really have to interact with people. You just throw it up on Marketplace and then you throw a little ad up there. Hey, if you want one custom, it's double the price. And you got to give me 8 weeks to make it. And then you just take your time. You wait for some rain while you're park ranger. You don't need to be out there, and you just build your little bed and sell it. You don't go. You don't have to be on your knees banging tile. You don't have to be cutting up decks in the hot sun. You're just chilling, doing a little custom woodwork. Put your little whatchamacallit, brand your name into the side of the wood, and then let it go.
Branded with the TWD logo.
The little TWD and the little SC at the bottom, so they know it came from you, and then you're good.
Right. Well, I can tell that you don't know much about custom woodworking by the fact that you claimed a mahogany bed would go for $800.
I'm telling you to lowball the whole thing because you just
you
just want them to move. Mahogany should go for a couple $grand.
Right. I'm not going to get the material for mahogany for $800.
I mean, we got to work that out. We're going to be stealing some material, but you're a park ranger. You get to find the wood out in the wild.
I could be doing. There's this wood that they pull up out of the swamps of Louisiana that they call like submerged oak or like something like that.
Right.
Submerged live oak, where they go in, they get the crane and pluck submerged logs out of the bottom of swamps and then take them and process them and use them for who knows whatever they're using them for.
That recovered, that reclaimed wood, that type of look goes for a hot fortune, and you're really not doing any more work. You're just, your supplies are a little different.
Yeah, I'm gathering supplies rather than purchasing.
That's
I'm reclaiming.
Right.
I'm reclaiming things.
You're reclaiming in an ecological sense.
Because if there's one thing I am, dude,
ecological. Well, now
it is ecological.
Now that you moved to Florida. Before, no, not so much. But now that you're in touch with nature, you realize nature needs your support as much as you need its support.
That's true. We're one and the same,
Yeah.
me and Mother Nature.
Yep.
You know? Just because they give you shit, you ain't got to take it.
That is absolutely true. That's a life motto that I live by. All right. Was there more to that? No? Okay. I don't know what's
working
happening.
on my comedic pauses. I think that one was pretty good.
I liked it. I liked how you dragged it out, and then I was like, is it funny or is it not funny, or did his camera freeze? So that was solid work.
So it's fasting season.
Yeah. Ramadan has begun. Ramadan, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
It started today, even though I started fasting yesterday, because there's some kerfuffle maybe of whether it was supposed to start yesterday or supposed to start today.
Okay.
I started yesterday just to be on the safe side.
Cover the bases.
So with that, right, previously I was doing a powerlifting program that the Jedi had me on. The Jedi was pushing me hard on a powerlifting program, and it was, it was pretty good. It was working for me. I wasn't really gaining muscle or getting any more aesthetically pleasing, but my numbers were going up. I was deadlifting 3 1/4. I was shoulder pressing, almost $150. I was getting my
getting you swole on.
Getting my swole on. You know what I mean? But now we're coming to fasting season, and I'm already probably cutting my calorie intake in half.
Right.
By fasting.
So when you're in fasting season, do things like protein drinks and stuff, that's all a no? It's
no, I could have a protein shake as long as it's after sundown.
Well, yeah, right. So that's what I'm saying. Like if you wanted to work out at noon, you couldn't take pre-workout because you're not actually eating something that's still not fasting to you.
No, well, I can't. Yeah, I can't take it.
Okay.
Anything between sunup and sundown is breaking your fast. However, I do break the fast as far as water, because if I'm working outside in 90-degree heat, I'm not putting my life in jeopardy.
No, I think that's a reasonable that's a reasonable thing. I think if you're, I know you're not, but I think the core of this is in God's eye. And I think if God looks at that and says, this is a person who is trying their damnedest, but I also want to see them, make their 5 prayers to Mecca a day. And so they're certainly going to need to rehydrate along the way. I don't think that becomes an issue.
Well, no, you're not supposed to drink water.
I understand that, but what I'm saying is I think that's a concern.
You think God's not mad about it?
I think if you're face-to-face with God and you say, listen, I understand the no water thing. I do, but I'm out here 90 degrees baking, and I want to make sure I'm here tomorrow to praise you again. And he'll be like, no, but I get it, though. My son walked for 40 days in the desert with no water. But, yeah, you go ahead.
Well, it depends on, which God you're talking to.
This is true.
Because as far as I'm concerned, I'm not really sure about the whole my son thing. But, I mean, he's a good role model, if nothing else.
Sure.
The bull Jesus is a hell of a role model for the people.
He is.
So what am I talking about? Oh, the powerlifting program.
Right.
So I figure if I'm fasting, right, the powerlifting is not going to work at 1,000 calories a day.
Okay.
Like I'm just going to rapidly lose muscle and lose strength, and then I'm going to be annoyed, and then I'm going to, probably stop lifting anyway. So I've shifted my Chris Cove. What's happening, brother? He loves your
I
handlebars.
see that.
Uh, the bull husk. You remember the bull husk,
Of course
right?
I do.
Obviously. So I shifted my gears, and I'm like, look, if I'm only eating half the calories, then let me shift towards calisthenics.
Okay.
So now my workouts now are consist of a minimum of a 2 mile run, because it's a mile to run to the park to get to the dip bars and the pull up bars, and then
Right.
a mile running back home. And I might stretch it out on the second half of that run to get 3, something like that, maybe, whatever.
Okay.
So I'm not a big fan. I'm not a fan of running. I like running, but it's tough.
Yeah.
It takes quite a bit of discipline to get yourself to go for a jog and continue jogging for a period of time.
Yeah, it's a soft J, but it's a hard exercise. I understand.
Get him. Well done, Payday.
Thank you.
So I found the key to success here.
Okay.
Also, just so you know, while you're deep tucked into your basement, I'm actually halfway outside recording this podcast.
I mean, I'm not
Garage door wide open.
I'm not in the basement. I'm on ground floor. I could pop the windows if I wanted to. I just choose not to.
Well, yeah, because it's 43 degrees.
Actually, no, today is like 65, 70. Today is what you might like for weather. Today's a little warm for me, but that's neither here nor there.
Right now, it's not 65 or 70.
Actually, I don't
Matter
know.
of
It was
I'm
hot.
on the phone, or else I'd check it.
I'll check. But
So I found the key to success for calisthenics and for running.
Okay.
Is on YouTube. They have a whole gang of Army cadences of like a drill sergeant singing the cadence, and then the whole battalion backing them up.
Okay.
And there is something mystical about putting that in your ears and starting to jog.
And going with it, yeah.
And jogging, because I haven't jogged in years, and I was able to do first jog was 3 miles, and no stopping, nothing, just went at it, listening to work, or what was the other one? I left my home to join the army, whatever. You know what I'm saying?
I got you.
You know where I'm at with it.
I do. I completely agree. The main thing I've been doing is biking. And I'm up to about 7.5 miles a day. Stationary bike, but still about 7.5 miles a day. And
I believe you're pronouncing it wrong. I think it's a soft B in front.
I don't know where the soft B would go. How does the soft B go?
No, I don't know.
I'm bicycling.
Biking.
But it's 7.5 miles. It takes me about 20 minutes. And if I can be completely unconscious of the time, I could do that. It's easy. It's easy even on a tough setting. But the minute I know the time, I'm dead. Like, it's such a brain killer to be pedaling for a little while and then look at the clock, even if it's accidentally, and go, oh, I've only been here for 3 minutes. I'm never going to make it to the end of this thing. But like, what I've been doing is I find a new TV show that I've never seen before, that's at least a half hour long, and I just start pedaling, and then I get to the end and it's like, oh, I didn't realize I'd be done. But yeah, you need something, and it can't be. When I started biking, I was doing 15 minutes a day, which got to about 5 miles a day, and I would watch Jeopardy. But the problem became, I knew exactly where like the cues were coming in, and so like, oh, I got 9 more minutes left, and then it becomes this fatiguing drag. But as soon as I don't know what the clock is, it's no problem at all.
See, I couldn't, even if I was jogging in place on a treadmill.
Right.
I can't do a show. Okay. I need something that I can, like, I need to be able to shut my brain off.
Right.
And so if a drill sergeant is yelling at me inside of my AirPods, then that works for me to like shut my brain off and just keep jogging ahead.
Yeah, and I get that too. I tried it with music, But then the problem becomes like I kind of put on the same songs all the time, and then I know, oh, okay, I need to get to the end
This
of
one's
that
about
song.
3 minutes.
Exactly, and that screws up the brain too. It's whatever it is. If I could ride the bike while I was actually asleep, I could go probably 15, 20 miles with no problems. I just can't. I can't clock watch in any meaningful way. Otherwise, it just becomes like it's so defeatist. It's so defeatist.
I suggest trying the Army cadence thing.
I will.
You can also try. I mean, this is a departure from jogging or hiking,
Right.
which would be to do a little ruck march, is what I initially thought, and then I thought like, ruck's probably somewhere between 20 and 50 pounds, right? I don't know,
Right.
maybe about 30, 35.
With all your
You know
gear
what
in
else is? Yeah, you know what else is 35 pounds?
I do. I carry it around with me every day.
The baby G.
Oh,
The new
yeah.
guy,
All
baby
right.
Buddy Cove, is about 35 pounds, give or take.
Okay.
So I thought about maybe putting him in a sack on my back and rucking through the swamps with him. That way we get to kill two birds with one stone. But then my next thought was, obviously there's not too many things gayer than the dad who's wearing the baby in the pouch.
I'm glad you brought this up because I got some questions.
Oh, you were a pouch daddy, dude. You were a pouch baby daddy.
That's not the part I wanted to discuss, but yeah, I absolutely was.
You're a PBD.
So when you say, because we've had other discussions that lead you to, but it's gay.
Yeah.
What's your concern with that?
You know what else is gay that I thought of?
Two guys with bucket hats wearing Oakley glasses staring at each other from 2,000 miles away?
No, that's muckster, dude. That's full muck life. You know what's gay, dude?
What's that?
Baths.
Unless
Men who take baths.
you're doing it because you're
gay,
injured.
dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess you could do it because you're injured. It's almost fair game for an ice bath, but that still counts as a little gay because you're in a bath.
Right. So you're not addressing my question though, because like.
But I got to tell you this. I got to follow through this thought, and then we'll get to your question.
All right, fair enough.
The Bull Husk is a bath guy. My point is proven. You hop in a bath with your little buoy floating at the fucking front of you.
And he knows where his keys are, so he's good there.
That's the gayest part, dude, is that your little bird is floating. It just kind of floats and swings around above you, dude.
I don't think it should be. I think if it's floating, you might have to go to the doctor about that. But
your bird isn't buoyant, dude? You don't have a buoyant bird?
With that amount of weight around it? No. It taps the bottom. It taps the bottom while I'm sitting down.
Oh, fair enough. I'm a below average sized gentleman, dude. So, I'm not working with a chopper like you. I guess it's a different story when you got 4 inches of circumference.
I mean, they called it a soda can. I didn't disagree with them.
Mine's more like a squashed soda can. But wait.
Oh,
Here's the end of this thought.
Right,
Here's the end of this thought.
Yeah.
That I'm so not gay, dude. I'm so manly.
Right.
That I don't even step foot in a shower that has a bath underneath of it. Only stall showers from here on out.
Sills for you. I got you.
That's it. Stall showers with white tile, so it feels like you're in prison taking a delicing shower.
Sure. You got to throw it back to the good old days, as they say.
Exactly.
So
now, what's my problem with something being gay?
Right. So you're not the only one to do this. You just brought it up again, and somebody was talking about it the other day on something I was listening to about how like guys will say something, and then note that it could sound remotely gay, even though that wasn't the intention, and then like say pause. Oh, I was handling the meat the other day. Pause. You know what I mean? Like, what's your concern with looking gay or acting gay? Or someone else perceiving you as gay? What's your concern with that?
Oh, no. I know. So early on, first off, I'd like to defer to Jadakiss, who once said a real man never has to say no homo. So you won't catch me playing the pause game or the no homo game because Jadakiss told me I didn't have to.
But you really just did, though. You really just did when you said I can't throw my son on my chest because it would look gay.
No. Not because it would look gay. Because it is gay.
I'm not sure you know what the word gay means, but go on.
Happy. It looks like a happy, beautiful father and son tandem. frolicking through the swamp.
So you're just concerned that you'll look chipper.
I don't want to look too happy, dude. That's pretty much what the
People
scenario
need to
is.
understand that the
No,
world is miserable.
Listen, I, like you, like the Bull Husk, and like Aid, are from the generation when if you called your boy gay, it didn't mean that he was kissing his friend.
Understood.
It just meant that he was acting a little less than masculine.
Understood. But and I get that, and I don't think that even when you say this, you're disparaging anybody's sexual choices. I'm not on that plane with it.
Dude, I would love to be gay.
All right, that's a different conversation, and that's fine too. My question becomes, your concern is folded into what someone else thinks of it. So why do you care?
See, here's the thing that we have to rewind. We have to rewind a few years back.
Okay.
Back to the beginning of the Gig podcast when me and you became buds and we were learning about each other.
Back then.
And I think many episodes, I had tried to drill home to you that it's not about what anybody else thinks. It's about my own view of myself.
Right.
That holds true here.
No, it doesn't.
It does.
No, it doesn't. Well, okay, so look, right? It doesn't. Because so if you're running through with your son on your chest and you're doing your ruck work, and obviously I can't think of in the framing of society, I can't think of something too much manlier than having your son strapped to your chest while you run through the dangerous Everglades in the hot weather, sweating your ass off, protecting your kid. Like that's kind of the height of of like lizard brain masculinity. But your concern is
I agree, but there is one vital part of that makes it full masculinity rather than not too many things more masculine.
Okay.
And that is your son in a backpack. If you full masculinity, you go, I don't care how my arms feel for this 3-mile march, I'm holding it.
You're just carrying him like a loaf of bread like a running back.
Yeah, carrying like a loaf of bread through the swamp. Stiff arming, doing the Heisman, the Gators with him. You know what I mean? The gayness comes when you're doing a thing that is usually reserved for the ladies. They don't have the muscular stature and strength and stamina to hold a baby for an extended period of time, which is why the pouch was invented. We looked at the kangaroo. We said that they're onto something.
Yeah, no.
Let's figure it out.
Right. No, it's the part
where man in general should have the strength to carry his whole family, wife and dog included, in his arms and run through the swamp if necessary.
On the shoulder so that their feet don't get wet, not in the arms. Come on.
Which whatever way you got to do it, as long as it's not in the back, as long as it's not in a pouch.
It's got to be a fireman's carry, otherwise they're getting wet in the glades.
Although it might be less gay if you put your wife in a pouch and carried her on your back.
As long as she's facing the same way. If she's facing away from you, then it gets weird.
It's a little odd.
Yeah.
But I think that may be the way to go.
You got to tip it back every now and then, let her take over for a step or two so you can catch your breath.
That would work, yeah. I was just thinking that you don't want her seeing where you're running so she can start picking apart your route.
Oh, she'll figure it out from the other side. The sun doesn't look right. You're not going the right way. Turn me around so I can see. Turn me around so I can see. It'll be the whole thing.
Let me see where we're going.
It'll be the whole thing. Walk backwards.
Yeah, there is nothing. I'm trying to think of something gay that I do.
Like
yogging.
Yogging
is mad gay.
I mean, as I came into my own, I won't say my whole life, but I don't think I've ever bought something or done something and said, ooh, I wonder if this would be considered gay. Because
that's because everything you do is 1,000% masculine.
Well, I mean, it could be that, or it could be that I just don't care one way or the other. Like I don't care what anyone's perception of me is. I know who I am, and I'm not worried about who you think I am.
Correct.
I will listen to the opinions of my friends and my family. I'm not saying I'm like some island, but some dude across the street sees me wearing pink sneakers and is like homo, and I'm, who are you? What do I care? I like these sneakers.
Yeah, no, I am in complete concurrence with you.
All right.
It's not about what the dude across the street thinks. It's about the man in the mirror.
Okay. Michael Jackson is the one you're concerned will think that you're gay?
I am.
I got you.
Very much so. I figured he might make a move on me. I'm a little too old for him at this point, but
Now, yeah.
back in the
But
day,
you got old videos up on YouTube. He can just flash back.
What do you think we're? We got about 10 minutes left.
We get about 9, unless you want to take a break and come back.
I'm going to tell you this.
All right, hit me.
I'm going to ask you this.
Ex me this.
Do you remember when Beanie Siegel put out "Average Cat," the Jay-Z diss?
Yes.
Now, the Jay-Z did not respond to that.
No.
Do you think that Jay should have responded to that? Or do you think he was fully in his right to go, nope, I'm above this?
I think he's got a position to say I'm above this. I don't think that's 100% the reason he doesn't respond to Beans. I think it's like maybe like 60-40 of I'm not punching, I'm not punching at the amateur level, I'm punching at the pro level. And also Jay doesn't win that battle. If that battle is on fair terms and there's no ghostwriting or anything of that nature, Jay has no possible in to winning that battle. And I think he recognizes that. I think for all the things we dislike about Jay, I think Jay has always been kind of aware of his position and his abilities for the most part. Because if you really even think, like, who he's ever engaged with at all has never been well-known high-level lyricists, right? He got in it with Mobb Deep.
You mean Nasir Jones? You mean his biggest battle ever was with the number 2, but number 1, possibly number 2, top 3 ever?
It's not his biggest battle ever until Nas responds, A. And B, that felt more like a territorial battle than a rap battle. And also, he got blown out of the water. He went against the Shark, and he was a minnow in that fight. And what other battles what other commensurate to that level battles has he been in?
Well, that's his biggest one, without a doubt.
Right. And it's that big because of Nas.
Yeah.
Like you got the Mobb.
They're both titans. They're titans.
Let me ask you this.
Uh-huh.
You want to get little Junior's rap career off the ground. And you can get one rapper to ghostwrite for him his first hit. And it's pretty much going to be guaranteed to hit one way or the other. And they're both guaranteed to keep their mouths shut about it. Who are you getting to write that rap?
Drake.
Perfect. That's exactly what I was saying. Between Nas and Jay, you would pick Drake. I got it.
I'm going. I mean, that's a no-brainer to go the Drake route.
Right, because you want the hit, not because he's lyrically capable.
Right.
Yeah.
But if you want a hit from Jay-Z or Nas, you go to Jay-Z.
You go to Jay-Z for the hit. You go to Nas for the bars. And
correct.
And in our time, when the battle was happening, the battle was about the bars.
That's true.
Right. So.
And I'm not saying Jay won the battle.
No, I know.
But what I am saying is that I think listening to Average Cat this past week, it was very apparent to me that, like, he should have responded, but maybe you're right. Maybe he believed, like, oh, I got no business scrapping with the Broad Street Bully.
I'm not saying that it was about Beans, but he's got the bar that explains it the best. You shoot me, you're famous. I shoot you, I'm brainless. He can't win that battle just by the nature of the fact that people view Beans as like a lower tier. So either Jay beat up on a smaller guy. Well, I mean, the not us, like the not interior clique. You know what I mean? Like
right.
the world at large either views him as punching down or losing a battle. So what's it worth to him to come back at Beans and try to fight that fight?
I just think that sometimes you have to act according to the culture, and Jay has, for the most part, acted according to the culture of hip hop. And the culture would dictate that you being in the top spot, if someone comes at your neck, you have to straighten them out and prove your top spot. So we're just giving them the top spot and saying, no, don't worry, nobody's going to test you. You get to be at the top.
Is that everybody? Everybody who comes for Jay, he's got to respond to?
No, but Siegel for sure.
So why is Siegel different?
Because Siegel's in that second tier right below Jay and Nas. Jadakiss, he's got to respond to him. Even at this point, Dave East, you got to respond to him. Now, if
Oh, I don't think he's got to respond to Dave. I'll debate with you whether or not he's got to respond to Jada, but I don't think he's got to respond to Dave whatsoever. And by the
Dave
time
East is the new Jada, dude.
that's crazy talk, and I like Dave East a lot, and that's at best Dave East is the new guru. By the time Average Cat comes out, Jay is already on Blueprint 3. He is like Gen Pop miles beyond where Beanie is. I would guarantee you that there are people who heard Beanie's diss and went, I don't know who that guy is. So why do
There's some.
why do I care
But they're not
that he attacked
they're not
Jay?
they're not the ones who are even going to be interested in the battle. You know what I mean? Like the guys who are interested in the battle, all who want to see Jay battle, all know who Siegel is.
Yeah. And see,
Siegel is not a minion in the rap game. He's been a monster and he's been around for a long time and he's put out classic material. It could be argued if Black Thought didn't exist, you could argue Beanie Siegel as the greatest rapper out of Philly.
I wouldn't be opposed to hearing you out on that. I would not be opposed to that idea. But I think part of the problem is also that diss comes in 09. Like, if he throws that diss out in 01 or 02, coming off of, like, the Rock La Familia stuff and really makes it, like, a hard divorce or whatever, maybe even that's a little bit different. Like, all right, I got to clear the air about what happened here. But Beans waited almost a decade to come at him. It wasn't...
Well, Beans has a history of drug abuse, so he was stoned for that decade, and when he came up out of it, he realized he had to say some stuff.
Hey, wait a minute.
He turned around and found himself in Pleasantville, New Jersey, outside of Atlantic City, and went, wait a second, I
got to get it together, man.
Yeah, what am I doing here? I should be in a penthouse in Manhattan.
I'm the Average Cat. But by 09, I don't think... I'm not arguing who's the better MC. That's not what I'm doing here. But I think in 09, I don't think that Jay needs to respond to Beanie because I don't think Beanie is on his level as far as, like, the world stage is concerned.
I agree there. But as far as MCs, those two are not worlds apart.
Oh no, I think Beans is a better MC, and I think Beans is a notably better MC. Like I think if they went at each other, I think Beans wins by the third round. I think the first two rounds maybe he even keeps it close, but the third round is where Jay will start to lose steam and his little tricks and whatnot start to sort of lose their luster, and Beans can just keep coming with the next thing and the next thing and the next thing and just bury him. Death by 1,000 razor paper cuts.
Fair enough.
We got a minute left. Make a call. You want me to cut and come back, or what do you want to do?
What do you want to do? You got anything else to talk about?
I mean, I got a list of things if you want to bounce around a little bit. You don't got nothing else?
I probably got nothing exciting, but we can come back. We'll talk. We'll play the game where I eat a gummy and see if I can make it out of here sober.
I don't know why we don't start with that game every time, but we'll get to that. All right, so we'll go to a quick break. Give us about a minute and a half. You're going to get a black screen at most. We'll come right back. And we'll kick it a little bit more until Cove either punches out or checks out. That's going to be That's going to be the name of the game. Punch out or check out. We'll be right back.
POCO.
as Payday. We're going to punch out from here. We're having a little bit of a technical issue. We will get back with it shortly. Thank you for joining us tonight. We'll be back again next week. Don't be late for work.